Hello, I'm Jack Rickard with EVTV. This is my compadre and consigliere, El Breno Noto.
Hey, it's good to be here, especially after all this weather we've had.
You know, it's I'm feeling good. I got out in a little speedster.
I noticed
for the
that.
first time
Yeah.
in weeks,
Yeah.
months. That's still the best car we ever did.
That's a nice car. You notice I moved the other speedster so we could get it out. It was funny you wanted to drive it last night.
I did, and it just was
Nice
like
little car.
magic.
Yeah.
It really is. The weather, yes, we've had some weather, I think. It hasn't affected me. Whenever I've gone outside, the sky's been blue. I've been indoors working, but I've gotten a lot of email from our viewers, which we appreciate the concern that somehow we're in some sort of danger.
We've been circled by it, kind of some
What's been
tornadoes,
going on?
thing blowing away, a couple of people dying.
There was some stuff
they made a big
about
thing.
An old woman on a bicycle, a little dog, and a house.
Yeah, house landing on someone.
I couldn't follow it. There's a lot of really
Kansas,
short people around here now, but
they're
no,
terrible
we
singers
weren't really
too.
affected.
No,
Something.
No, I didn't even see the short people.
I always knew there was no place like home, and so
right.
it's not
just,
really
just
affected
click
me.
your ruby slippers.
Yeah, I was staying home and I was indoors working, so it didn't.
Now you know what I did find out though about that in the original play that there was no dog named Toto. There was a cow named Imogene. Yes, the dog came for the movie.
Is that right?
Yes.
In the original story, there was no dog.
No, it was a cow named Imogene.
Imogene.
Imogene. Yeah. I guess maybe the cow didn't make good video or something.
Well, probably so. Oh, who's going out of business this month?
You know, it's hard to say. Who?
Bright Automotive goes dark.
What were they making? Like a delivery? Wanted to make a
They were
delivery van or
actually, they had a
something?
contract with the Postal Service.
Really?
It was kind of a largish van.
Okay.
And this goes back 100 years. 100 years ago, the place for electric vehicles, if nothing else worked, you could always go into local deliveries.
Local delivery, yeah, because you know the route and who needs range.
This is the gig with the Ford TransConnect, and it was basically what Bright Automotive was doing.
Oh, okay.
They had some investment from GM Ventures. They had a CEO or CEO from Chrysler. This was all inside guys who knew
Detroit
what they were
guys,
doing,
yeah.
pulling the game.
Okay, okay.
But they ran into this ATVM, Advanced Technology.
Oh, okay. The loan program?
Advanced Technology Vehicles Manufacturing loan.
Oh, that's that loan program,
It's
okay.
supposed to be $25 billion from the Obama administration, which really originated in the Bush administration.
Okay, okay.
To go to advanced vehicle things. Guess how much is actually going out of the U.S. government for that?
I don't know, but probably not as much as
They're saying like
promised.
$50 million.
Oh, shoot.
And CEO Ruben Munger and COO Mike Donahue wrote a blistering letter to Energy Secretary Stephen Chu, claiming the whole program. Fisker is very critical of the program.
Right, Fisker was, a few weeks ago.
Everybody that hasn't gotten free money.
Right,
from the
everyone
government.
who's missed their milestones or haven't gotten money is pissed.
You know, I would love a magic arrow to jumpstart this stuff as much as anybody.
Right. Yeah, we love it. It's.
But in truth, Brian, these kind of programs, the subsidy for the $7,500 subsidy.
Right.
The reason I don't like them is because they don't work.
Yeah, well, you can look at the sales. They haven't.
And they have unintended consequences.
Right.
Now you have Volt dealers who are giving up selling the Volt and they're stripping.
Yeah, they're
coupon
selling them back
the
and
$7,500, taking it themselves and dumping the cart.
Yeah.
It's just a bad public policy to do that.
Yeah, make a good product and people should buy it.
Basic research in batteries, I think that would be cool.
That's a different story.
But when you go to funding production lines and stuff, you're trying to pick the winners and call the shots in an economy. This is the basis, the very basis of every single episode of I Love Lucy ever filmed.
That's right.
Lucy thought she knew better than little Ricky and Big Ricky.
Than Ricky did. That's
And if
right.
she could just manage the information and do it her way, that it would come out great.
Yeah.
At the end of every episode, Lucy went, wah, because guess what? The future wasn't quite what she thought it should be. And guess what happens when a central government tries to run an economy?
Oh, yeah. You see that all around. Yeah, that's right. You got some splaining to do.
You got some explaining to do, Lucy. And it's not that anyone's done anything wrong. Stephen Chu and Barack Obama and crony capitalism and all this, that's not the issue. They were trying to do a good thing that cannot be done because of Lucy's 30-minute sitcoms.
Right. Who knows what's going to happen?
Why weren't you paying attention?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, who knows?
You can't tell 60 minutes from now what's going to happen. Why are you discussing 10 years? Yeah. Why do you have a 5-year plan?
Yeah, that's right. Just go do something.
It's ridiculous.
Get the market sorted out.
It has at one time been the case that governmental grants and funding for basic research were appropriate. That got bollocksed when they decided that the people that did the research and developed these technologies should also somehow become billionaires.
Oh, yeah.
And be able to productize them.
Yeah.
And so that's all messed up.
Yeah, because it should be the public's property at that point.
Exactly. If it's publicly funded development, why isn't it a public good?
Yeah, true enough.
And so these kind of programs are well-intended. And they kind of make sense. And the history of their working is there's never been one.
Never been one. Yeah.
Never been one to work. And so that's...
Oops.
I hate to be the curmudgeon, but let's talk about another one, Envious Systems.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they've been in the news a lot last...
No, they've been in my email box a lot. You know
they?
how many people have sent me a link to Envious Systems?
Really?
And this battery.
Okay.
I've got 100 of them.
Oh, God. They're everywhere. Yeah.
Everybody is very excited. Envious Systems has claimed that they can do a battery that's 400 watt-hours per kilogram.
That's pretty good.
At a cost of 125 watt-hours, $125 per kilowatt hour.
That's even better. I mean,
you know, it is.
That's pretty good.
What we're paying is, to put that in perspective, is about $300. Apparently, we do a little better than a Leaf.
Oh, really? Okay.
They're quoting $375.
Oh,
we're at a $290, $300 landed costs on the batteries, I would say most of our cells are in the 105 to 110 watt-hour per kilogram
per the weight.
Density range.
Okay.
So when you're talking about 400, now we give up a little for the LiFePro 4, and I've been on record, I'm going to stay on record, and say eventually they're going to come back to this LiFePro 4 iron phosphate cell. You give up a little density, and you get a lot better cell. It has a lot better durability, and it's a lot safer to begin with, and it's a little more stable cell.
Yeah.
But they're not going to listen to me because they want the extra 10 watt-hours per kilogram.
Yeah.
Tesla is claiming 121.
Okay.
Now ours by the book would claim 109 in some cases, but I think it normally is 105, 106. Okay. We tend to count things differently.
Yeah,
they're optimists.
Right. They're optimists.
Pessimists.
Right. Or just what shows up on the meter.
They're going to do a little better with these Panasonics.
Oh yeah.
And so 400 is Nirvana.
That is. That's huge.
And they insist that this is not pie in the sky, but that we are not demonstrations, not experiments, but actual products. We could be in automotive production in a year and a half, according to this Mr. Kapadia, Atul Kapadia, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Envia.
Okay.
Doesn't that sound good?
It sounds like
everybody's excited.
All everybody needs to, I guess, is what? Send in your money and just wait a little bit.
Yeah. It's press release, Brian.
Oh yeah. We used to see a lot of those.
And
Still do.
you've seen another one.
Yeah.
NVIDIA Systems doesn't make batteries. They have never made batteries. They still don't make batteries. They have done some prototypes.
Okay.
They basically leech technology off the Argonne National Laboratory.
Okay.
Argonne has done some work in the last few years by taking every single cathode material that's ever been successful, including phosphate, manganese, spinel, cobalt, and nickel, and mashing it all up into one mashup and calling it the new hybrid does everything. And by the way, that's not far off of what Panasonic is doing in their production run this month in March, which it will be the batteries used in the Tesla.
In the Tesla, yeah.
3.4 amp hour new hybrid cathode, and very similar to NVIDIA, coming in the next run next year will be a silicon graphite hybrid anode.
Okay, yeah.
All that came out of Argonne. NVIDIA is, they're partly funded by the Energy Department, and General Motors has provided $7 million in funding. And there is nothing wrong with doing research. This company does not make batteries. They do not want to make batteries. They have no production line for making batteries, and they have no intention of ever making a single battery.
So they want to do license their technology?
Of course. They're an IP licensing game.
Right.
They have PowerPoint presentations and press releases. And this one's causing absolute hysteria.
It's hysterical.
And it's gotten everybody just very excited, and all that's good, and batteries are going to improve. In fact, ours have improved in the last month or so. But this isn't anything. This is fluff. Pure D fluff. There is no battery underneath it. There's no, I mean, there is some chemistry. They do have some patentable IP and intellectual property here. They are going to ostensibly license that to somebody that does make batteries. They do not have a single licensee for that at the moment. They have no plans for any. They have hopes for it, and they would hope GM would license it and do their own batteries, which they may indeed do.
They sure they could.
A123 could license this and do it. The Winston Battery Company
anybody
could do it.
Sure.
Sino probably could do it. And they would love that, and they would love people to send them money for their PowerPoint presentation, and for that person to go do the work of producing the batteries, selling them, and turning it into money, which they would then forever give NVIDIA a part
pay
of.
A little royalty, a little vig.
It's good work if you can get it. What more can I say? We wish them the very best of luck. I hope they find licensees. I hope that Mr. Capadia becomes wildly successful, fabulously rich, has his own island in the Fijis.
That's nice.
And does fabulously well, and that we do, in fact, get a 400-watt-hour battery at $125 a kilowatt hour, and criminy.
Man, it all gets better.
It will not be from my mouth that all this is found to be a whole bunch of hooey.
Is it hooey?
However,
the H word, hooey.
They have worked tirelessly. They've logged over 25 million test channel hours. The silicon carbide anode, the HCMR cathode, EHV electrolyte.
Suji Kumar.
I'm blown over. I love you guys. I think it's great. They're not a battery company. They're not making any batteries, and you're not going to be able to buy them. And their best estimate would be all this could happen in 3 years. If somebody did it.
If somebody did it.
Not them.
Right.
They don't want anything to do with that.
Right, if someone did it.
What else you got?
Let's see. What else do we got? Portland up in Oregon.
I know where Portland is.
They do like electric cars up there.
I wonder why.
And they've got, I don't know what it is. They put in, apparently up there at Portland State University, they've got this little area where they put in all these charging stations. And you get to use them, and I guess as using them, and you get to use them for free, that you're part of a 2-year study that the university's putting on. Well, they put in one of the Kanematsu It has the DC battery pack in front of it, and they're pretty excited about having one of those in up there. And that's what we've been talking about a fast charge system with the DC, either all DC or having it in front of it. And
well,
nice.
everybody, you know, I have been proven prescient on this OEM thing. By the way, let me see if I've got my numbers. Nissan. This sounds like I'm going off topic. I'm going to bring
that back. Okay.
Full circle. Nissan sold 478 Leafs in February.
And that's got to be more than in January, is it?
No, it's less, actually. 29% decline from the 676 that sold in January. They have announced now that us and the other 21 states can now order a Nissan. But there's no place on the Nissan ordering website.
No, we went over there and looked. Yeah.
And if you did, you can't get it till summer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just comical. But I'm not against these guys. You know, this is not that I don't like OEMs or I don't like OEM cars. I don't like bullshit. Is what I don't like.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's so difficult to wade through all of it here.
Yeah, because there's a lot.
But Nissan is going to do a very good thing on exactly what you're saying, and it's quite exciting. They have teamed with Sumitomo to do this Chademo fast charge.
Yeah, right. That we talked
they
about.
have
yeah.
sold quite a few cars. It's a very popular option on their Leafs. People are paying to get the fast charge connector.
The connection. Okay.
They're opting for it. They want it.
They want that option. Okay.
There's no place for them to get use
No. I think a couple in Chicago or something. That's about it. Yeah, not many.
So Nissan is going to get all their dealers to have that, and they've worked with Sumitomo, and they are going to have a version of this fast charger that they will sell apparently to anybody through AeroVironment.
Oh, okay.
Who has been a player in the space.
Yes.
$9,900.
That's high, but isn't that less than it has been?
Brian, that's actually less than that GE DuraStation dual 32 amp, 232 amp J1772 charge station that I bought from that outfit, and they called me 3 weeks later and asked if I knew that there'd be a 3-week waiting period.
Yes, if you really wanted it now.
And I told them that's great because I ordered it 3 weeks ago. And they said, no, we didn't really do anything with that order. We're just now calling you.
Yeah, they were on vacation or something, right?
Yeah, the gal was on vacation, so I never did get that. That was a General Electric.
Yeah, that was expensive.
DuraCharger, and it was $10,000.
Yeah.
But that was for simply 2 level 2 chargers.
Yeah, 230 amp chargers, whatever. Yeah.
I'm talking about a couple hundred ampere, 400 volt type Chademo level 3 charge station.
Yeah, that's big. That's big.
For $9,900, $100 less than the GE.
Than the 2 watt stations. Wow.
Why is this important? And why is Nissan doing this? SAE never has come out with the level 3 charge standard.
No, I know they were kind of flopping around, but they never did a thing.
Nissan has a fast charging port on their car. The Ford Escort now coming out does not. The Chevy Volt does not.
Yeah,
this is a huge advantage.
That's a competitive advantage, yeah.
For the Leaf, if there was some place to plug it in. I still don't personally feel the call to drive an electric car across the country.
Yeah, I guess
we have that couple from.
The guys went around the world.
Yeah,
from Denmark or where were they from?
Right. Yeah, and they're driving around the world 100 miles at a time.
I know.
And I'm just like, why?
Yeah, that's painful.
That's painful.
That's painful.
Easy for me to say. I've got a hangar full of airplanes. So why you would want to go cross country in an electric car does escape me. However, the whole range anxiety
it starts breaking that apart.
The whole nut about the electric car starts to come unraveled if you would save your money and not spend it, cities, states, and so forth, on level 2 chargers, which you can do at home. But put in between cities fast charge stations
Yeah.
where you could charge in even 30 minutes. That's inconvenient, but you can have a soda or a cup of tea.
Yeah, right, or a cup of tea, yeah.
And get down the road another 80 or 100 miles, and it all would work.
And do it again, yeah.
You could move a car across country by driving it that way.
Oh, yeah, you could, yeah, yeah.
And that would be good for, say, our electric vehicle conversion convention.
Yeah, yeah, the
Because
guys
could make it easier
drive
for
their
guys
cars
to
in.
drive their cars
Absolutely.
in. They'd have to take a couple days, but at least they wouldn't have to put it on a truck.
Yep.
So that Nissan is doing that, I think, is great.
Yeah.
And
that is-
I can see where they're contributing to the whole cause, not just out for Nissan, in a lot of ways.
Right, and trying to break this range anxiety thing.
And I, approve all that, but I can't make them sell cars.
Right, yeah, that's the bottom line.
I know who they're selling them to, and I know why they're selling them, and they don't. And they're not going to listen to me. So what's the deal?
What do we do? Yeah.
Who's buying Leafs? My viewers are buying Leafs.
Yep, you guys are buying them.
Who's building cars in the garage? My viewers are building cars in the garage. Who's buying Volts? Who's riding around in the Mini E's? Who's going for the BMW Active E? It's all the same guys. They don't subscribe to one magazine. They don't watch one TV show.
Right, right.
They are the enthusiasts who believe this technology is a way out of our financial, our economic, our geopolitical. It's a game changer in a lot of ways. They've worked it all out. I don't have to explain it to them.
Right, right.
And Fred Banning, this is a retired IBM guy. He's built him a bug-eye Sprite. It's just cute as a bug. But he's got a Leaf in the garage right next to it.
Yep. Yep.
There is no religious dogma, karmic infringement here.
That's right.
It's all
okay.
part of God's plan.
It's all okay.
It's all okay. It's all good.
That's right.
It all is what it is.
That's right. It's just difficult for people to grasp it. Yeah,
And,
what this
and
looks like.
I feel like Sisyphus rolling a rock. Here's press releases, fluff, and misunderstanding. Here's what's going on.
Yeah, here's where the action is.
Here's what I wish would happen. I wish 100,000 of you would go out and build a car, buy a Leaf, marry a Leaf, take the parts out of the Leaf and put it in a Mack truck.
That's right, do whatever you
Innovate,
want.
create, chop the thing up, make it into a hot rod. This is the very best of America. This is what we do best.
Yep, take things apart, fix it, improve it.
Sometimes we never get them back together.
It happens every now and then. Yeah,
it's all
right.
good.
Sometimes you just have a bigger pile of parts.
That's right. But that's how you get out of this. You don't do it with central planning, socialist programs, and
that never works.
expenditure of public money in random directions.
Yeah, that just doesn't work.
Just get the hell out of my guy's way.
That's right.
That's
Electric cars are coming
that's what I
through.
want you to do.
That's right.
What else you got? But yeah, that's the fast charging thing.
That is the fast
Nissan
charging.
Has them, and a big price breakthrough. These things were $30,000, $40,000. $9,900 is what they're talking about. I still can't track down and get one. It's kind of press release.
Is
land.
it still?
It's still. But I can't give you a link where you can go buy one. AeroVironment is supposed to be
They're the ones that are going to have it. Okay, okay. And we've talked about this a lot of times on the show about gas prices and why they're rising. India, just things that are happening. And the Washington Post had an interesting article and had a graph that basically showed that in the United States, and this was kind of talking about Newt Gingrich, that says if we would drill more for oil, that we would return at $2.50 a gallon gas. This guy, Michael Conathan, is saying no. He's saying that we, first of all, just don't have enough oil rigs in the United States. That we provide about 8% of the oil to the world, and that there's just so many people that want cars and are using oil around the world. Of course, the little hiccups in the Middle East, things like that, contributing to the supply. That it's just more drilling just isn't gonna work.
Yeah,
we need to do something else.
But what was more striking was Barack Obama. While you're in here working on the Escalade this week, I was home. He was on TV.
I did see some of the
Did you see some of it?
It was amazing what he was saying.
Where did
I wonder if somebody was
did he
watching
get
our
a new-
show.
Did he get a new speechwriter or what?
I wonder if, yeah.
No, he was talking exactly what you're reading out of the Washington Post, with sort of a semi-sentient look on his face.
Yeah.
At cognizance, dawning awareness, the whole thing.
Yeah, that's right, that there's something else out there.
And he was trying to debunk this Republican, mostly Newt attack.
Mostly Newt, yeah.
See, they want to run against Mitt Romney. They do not want to run against Newt Gingrich.
Yeah.
He will respond to anything Newt says, and they ignore everything.
They ignore
Mitt Romney
everything
does.
else. That's right.
They love to run against Mitt Romney. They do not want to run against Newt Gingrich. And in this case, and I love Newt. I think he's one of the smartest guys who's ever been in Washington, but he's just wandered
It's
off
not going to
in the
work.
weeds on
Yeah.
this one.
Well, yeah,
He's kind of pandering to a Republican streak that is in the oil business.
Yeah.
And but Barack Obama debunked it quite artfully.
Yeah,
quite
I did listen to that after you
succinctly.
yeah.
On the television and in public, and he hit right on it, and what we've been preaching, that
The amount of oil that we drill at home doesn't set the price of gas on its own. And the reason is because oil is bought and sold on the world energy market. And just like last year, the biggest thing that's causing the price of oil to rise right now is instability in the Middle East. This time it's Iran. But a lot of folks are nervous about what might happen there, and so they're anticipating there might be a big disruption in terms of flow. And when uncertainty increases, speculation on Wall Street can drive up prices even more. Those are the short-term factors at work here. So when you start hearing a bunch of folks saying somehow that there's some simple solution, you can turn a nozzle and suddenly we're going to be getting a lot more oil, that's just not how it works. Over the long term, the biggest reason oil prices will rise is because of growing demand in countries like China and India and Brazil. Just think about this. In 5 years, the number of cars on the road in China more than tripled. Over the last 5 years, the number of cars tripled. Nearly 10 million cars were added in China alone in 2010. 10 million cars, just in one country, in 1 year. So that's using up a lot of oil. And those numbers are only going to get bigger over time as places like China and India get wealthier. They're going to want to buy cars like we do, and they're going to want to fill them up like we do, and that's going to drive up demand. So what does this mean for us? What does this mean for America? It means that anybody who tells you that we can just drill our way out of this problem does not know what they're talking about, or they're not telling you the truth. One or the other. Here's another way to think about it. The United States consumes more than 20% of the world's oil, but we only have 2% of the world's oil reserves. 20% we use, we only produce 2%. And no matter what we do, it's not going to get much above 3%. So we're still going to have this huge shortfall. That's why if we really want energy security and energy independence, we've got to start looking at how we use less oil and use other energy sources that we can renew and that we can control, so we are not subject to the whims of what's happening in other countries. We have to keep developing new technology that helps us use less energy. We've got to keep relying on American know-how and ingenuity that comes from places like this one, Nashua Community College. That's our future. And that's exactly the path that we've been taking these last 3 years. Because of the investments we've made, the use of clean, renewable energy in this country has nearly doubled. And thousands of Americans have jobs because of it. We're taking every possible action to develop a near 100-year supply of natural gas, which releases fewer carbons. Now, that's something that experts believe will support more than 600,000 jobs by the end of the decade. Our cooperation with the private sector has positioned this country to be the world's leading manufacturer of high-tech batteries that will power the next generation of American cars. And after 3 decades of doing nothing, we put in place fuel economy standards that will make sure our cars average nearly 55 miles per gallon by the middle of the next decade. That's nearly double what we have today. And that, by the way, applies not just to cars, it applies to light trucks, and now it's going to apply to heavy trucks as well. So that means that every time you fill up, you can think to yourself, you know what, I won't have to fill up again for 2 weeks instead of 1 week. Yeah, that's worth applauding. Because what that means is that'll save the typical family more than $8,000 at the pump. And it means that this country will reduce our oil consumption by more than 2 million barrels a day, which means we can continue to see a decline in how much imported oil we need. And that's good for our national security, that's good for our economy, and it's good for our environment. So that's the strategy we've got to pursue. But we've got to do more, and we've got to do more even faster. We've got to keep investing in developing every available type of American-made energy. And this means that we've got to set some priorities. We've got to make some choices. First, while there are no short-term silver bullets when it comes to gas prices, I've directed my administration to look for every single area where we can make an impact and help consumers, from helping to relieve bottlenecks in the places like the one we've got in Oklahoma, to making sure speculators aren't taking advantage of what's going on in the oil markets. And we're going to just keep on announcing steps in the coming weeks. Every time we find something that can provide a little bit of relief right now, we're going to do it. But over the long term, an all-of-the-above strategy requires the right incentives. And here's one of the best examples. Right now, $4 billion of your tax dollars, $4 billion, subsidizes the oil industry every year. $4 billion. Now, these companies are making record profits right now. Tens of billions of dollars a year. Every time you go to the gas tank or fill up your gas tank, they're making money. Every time. Now, does anyone really think that Congress should give them another $4 billion this year? Of course not. It's outrageous. It's inexcusable. And I'm asking Congress, eliminate this oil industry giveaway right away. I want them to vote on this in the next few weeks. Let's put every single member of Congress on record. You can stand with the oil companies, or you can stand up for the American people. You can keep subsidizing a fossil fuel that's been getting taxpayer dollars for a century, or you can place your bets on a clean energy future. So I'm asking everybody here today, anybody who's watching at home, let your member of Congress know where you stand. Will you do that? Because I know where I stand, New Hampshire. I know where I stand on this. You know, we want to have successful oil companies that are able to get the oil that we have in our country, but we also understand that our future requires us to make investments in clean, renewable energies, and that has to start now. We can't wait. We can't wait until gas is skyrocketed more and people are desperate. We need to start making those investments now. And most of you guys agree. That's why you're putting your time. That's why folks here at this community college are learning about building cars and repairing cars that use less oil, cars that are powered with alternative fuels, like natural gas. That's why the city of Nashua is purchasing a new fleet of trash trucks that run on natural gas. They're going to go cleaner. They're going to last longer. They're going to be cheaper to fill up. I saw one of them. It was a good-looking truck. And it put a smile on the mayor's face because she knows she's saving money. She's saving taxpayer money. Good job, Mayor. So that's part of what that $4 billion that's going to the oil companies right now, that's where it could be going, to help cities like this one convert their fleets to fuel-efficient cars and trucks, to help private sector companies, big companies like UPS or Federal Express convert their fleets. That can save us money. In fact, since we announced the National Clean Fleets Partnership last year, the companies interested in transitioning their fleets have tripled. And that's part of why this chart is going down. And I'm proud to say that the federal government is leading by example. One thing the federal government has a lot of is cars. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but we have a lot of cars. And I've directed every department, every agency, every single one, to make sure that by 2015, 100% of the vehicles that the federal government buys are fuel-efficient cars and trucks. Let's save us money. So this is our future. This is the ultimate solution to our energy challenge. You know, it's not going to be a smooth, easy ride. Some of the clean energy technologies that are discovered, they won't pan out. Some companies will fail. There's going to be experiments and research that take time. But as long as I'm president, I will not walk away from the promise of clean energy because our future depends on it. I'm not going to cede the wind or the solar or the battery industry to China or Germany because some politicians in Washington refuse to make the same commitment here in the United States of America. With or without this Congress, I'm going to continue to do whatever I can to develop every source of American energy to make sure that 3 years from now, our dependence on foreign oil is even lower, to make sure that our future is not controlled by events on the other side of the world. We may not have a silver bullet to bring down gas prices tomorrow or reduce our dependence on foreign oil overnight, but what we do have in this country are limitless sources of energy and a boundless supply of ingenuity and imagination and talent that we can put to work to develop the energy of the future. We've got you. We've got you. The easiest thing in the world is to make phony election year promises about lowering gas prices. But what's harder is to make a serious, sustained commitment to tackle a problem that we've been talking about for 30 years and has not been tackled, has not been solved. It's not going to be solved in 1 year or 1 term, maybe not completely even in 1 decade. But that's the kind of commitment that we need. That's what this moment requires. And so when I see all the young people who are here today, or the young at heart, we need you guys to keep at it. This is your future at stake. We need you to work hard. We need you to dream big. We need you to summon the same spirit of unbridled optimism, that bold willingness to tackle tough problems that led previous generations to meet the challenges of their time, to power a nation from coast to coast, to touch the moon, to connect an entire world with our own science and imagination. That's what America's capable of doing. And it's that history that teaches us that all of our challenges, all of them, are within our power, within our grasp to solve. This one is no different. This one's no different. It will require our brightest scientists, our most creative companies, but it's also going to require all of us, Democrats, Republicans, everybody in between, to do our part. That's what this moment requires. And I know we can do it. And when we do, we'll remind the world once again just why it is that the United States of America is the greatest nation on earth. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. Hey.
The oil problem is not an oil problem.
Right.
The oil problem is a symptom.
Right.
Here's the problem. I want a car. Brian wants a car. Everybody in the United States wants a car. Guess what?
And we kind of have them.
And we kind of have them.
And
we're not really on a big growth curve. Our number of cars in the United States is dead stable.
Yeah, it's flattened out.
It's about 255 million cars, and we got about 210 million drivers.
Yeah,
and it's been that way for 10 years.
We've just been replacing the cars as they go offline. Yeah.
No, this is in India, where they have discovered that if you don't have to hook a goat up to a cart first thing in the morning, you have a more productive work day.
That's right. You can get more done. That's right. It's tough getting a feeding the goat, the whole darn thing, you know. Cows are even worse.
This is what's going on in China. Many of the young Chinese men are finding that a date on the bicycles does not lead to the getting lucky stuff like Jack back in Missouri.
That's right. Well,
because you don't have no back seat on that damn motor.
And a lot of these people have been in the United States. A lot of them are educated here, and they're going back home. They're spoiled.
We have a university here in Cape Girardeau that is almost giving up on the concept of educating people from the Midwest. We have thousands of Chinese coming in to go to school here, and they pay out-of-state tuition, which the local university just loves. So they're over in China recruiting this, and we're having thousands of Chinese students, and we love them. And they're great. We absolutely love them. And they're going home, but they want a car.
They want a car. Yeah, they don't want to give up what they had here.
Now there's the numerical problem. There's 1.3 billion of them.
Just Chinese, and what, another billion Indians, right?
Yes, 1.1 billion Indians. Jeez. And they want a car. We have no moral, logistical, legal, military, or even logical argument why they should not have one.
Right, and they will.
And they will.
They're proving that they will.
If we did have any of that,
it doesn't matter. They still will.
They're still going to get one.
They're still going to get one.
It took 100 years from 1886 and Carl Benz's tricycle car.
Yeah, right.
With an internal combustion engine to 1986 to reach 500 million simultaneous operating vehicles, primarily for personal transport. Not trains,
like trucks
and big trucks and airplanes, but automobiles.
Okay, personal mobility kind of things, yeah.
To double that number is July 2010.
Ooh, that wasn't nearly as long.
It's 24 years.
I know, that was quicker.
100 years, you get 500 million. Second 500 million is 24 years. What do you think the third 500 million is going to be?
Like it's got to be 10, 15
12
years. Yeah.
Standard,
it's just exponential.
One each, exponential growth curve.
Yeah.
Get over it, plan for it. These are like immutable facts of life in the universe.
Yeah. We're seeing this technology now, the automobile, really maturing.
Now, if gasoline was outrageous, $10 a gallon.
That would slow it down.
That would slow it down.
And
you would have what would be called a bumpy top. And that is that the growth hits a certain thing, and then the cost of the gasoline causes that to slow down or even fall back a little bit.
Yeah.
Which causes the price of the
now the gas
to go
come down.
So then it goes up, and so you have a bumpy top. Here's what a bumpy top looks like. The total collapse of the United States financial system, complete collapse of our banking system, which then takes Europe, China, and the rest of the planet with it.
And we'll owe them so much money they'll have our cars.
And we're like Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind, out eating roots out of the backyard. That's what a bumpy top looks like. If you want $2.50 gasoline, by the way, you can have it. I can totally convinced. You could have it in 5 years. 20% of just us, U.S., 20% of U.S. miles driven by 20% of our drivers and you're paying $2.50 for gasoline.
Yeah, you've done a lot with demand at that point. Yeah.
It's a real thresholdy kind of problem.
Yeah.
Now to hold that $2.50 from there, you got to advance that token,
keep it going,
and keep it going,
keep building,
25, 30, 40%, and so on. But yeah, I'm telling you, this is what's frustrating about this is it's a problem with a perfect solution.
Yeah, there is a way to work it all out.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, there is a way to work it all out.
And it makes so much sense for us. We get no more kids in sand dunes being shot at by wackos.
Who cares?
That ends.
Yeah.
The whole geopolitical thing about the Middle East, I don't care. Let them all murder each other.
Yeah, that goes away.
It goes away. It's not our problem. And and we avoid a total collapse of the global financial system. And it's not even that hard. I like driving the car. It's not that hard. They're a little more expensive than the gasoline ones right now. If everybody would get in, even that would go away.
That would change. Yeah, as the
parts count is just less. The weight is just less. Just on the mass of materials it takes to make a car.
Yeah. The complexity.
We're at 2/3.
Yeah.
And so this is very annoying that we have to fight so hard to get this problem solved.
Come on, build some more cars, guys. Tell people.
That's the deal.
Yeah, that's it.
And so just do that. But I was heartened that Barack Obama.
Yeah, I did watch that. Yeah, I did go home and watch that. He got it pretty good too. Mm-hmm. He got it pretty good.
I'm probably going to send him an email and tell him that if he'll get rid of the lisping Nancy Wasserman and Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid, we'll trade him Mitt Romney, Newt Gingrich, and 3 to be named in the later.
That's right. Well, it'll be like baseball or football, and for open, free agency.
Let's
trading cards.
Quit
almost.
Collecting them and trading them with our friends. Let's just fire them. I'll trade you these if you'll trade me those.
That's right.
And we'll meet in the middle.
You tell me how bad I really have it.
Yeah. What else you got? What do you know?
Let's see. Well, I think that's probably about what I got here for this week.
I want to hear. I got some more stuff, and you do too. A123 has added Tata Motors in India, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I read that
Speaking
one.
of which,
I did read that about Tata and them did a deal, yes.
For city bus program.
That's what it's about. Okay, I wasn't sure.
But this is India, what we were just talking
about. Yeah.
They have, they're suffering because Fisker has gone from projecting 15,000 cars a year to projecting zero.
Well, yeah,
they have laid everybody out, 65 people.
Except that they hired a new CEO, and I thought he was a baseball manager, Tom Lasorda.
It sounds like a Tommy Lasorda.
I thought he was a
different Tom Lasorda.
I think so. Yeah,
they're making 0 Fiskers. Right. They have no loans. They're
in the deal. They're pissed off like the other
that's why our windfall A123 sells. But let's review who they do have. They have the BMW Active Hybrid 5 and Active Hybrid 3, which could be very good for them.
Could be real nice. Yep.
Yeah,
BMW may pull it off. Yep.
The Chevrolet Spark EV, that's out there.
That's right. That's flopping around.
But it's out in the future.
For the future, yeah.
Daimler Transit buses using a BAE hybrid system. The Fisker Karma.
That's kind of
Walking Dead. This is the problem.
Yeah.
Smith Electric Vehicles, Newton Commercial Truck. They're up in Kansas, and they're kind of like Bright Automotive. So watch out for them.
Watch out for them.
Smith does trucks.
Yeah. Smith does trucks.
And startup Via Motors.
That's right, Via. But they're another truck, though, right?
Yeah. Who was that guy with GM? Bob Lutz.
That's right. Lutz is involved with Via.
Via Motors.
Yeah, that's right.
Via Motors is the one I never can remember the name of.
And Via Motors is the one that is fixing some of those Balcon trucks that kind of cratered down at the Long Beach and the LA ports.
What did you hear about A123?
Well, I got a press release that they and A123 and SAIC Motors was going to expand their partnership in China, and they're looking at a local manufacturing plant for these 20 amp hour cells in China.
What in the world is going on? They're looking to establish a plant in China for 20 amp hour cells.
Yeah.
That's where I'm getting their 20
I know.
amp hour cells.
Maybe.
Let's say made in the U.S.
Let's say made in the USA. It gets curiouser and
I
curiouser.
think I know what's going on, and then it changes. Now they're going to build a plant in China and do this on purpose.
Yes.
Okay.
At least that's the press release.
I'm in.
I'm only reading press
I'm in.
Do it. Go. Quick.
Let me show you our new battery module.
Oh, yeah.
The Flatenem Series. Let's take a look.
All right.
Okay. I'm working on our second layer of the Flatenem Series of A123 packs. We're going to try to put two 40-volt layers together. We may do three. But I'm trying to learn how to do these more efficiently. I've done away with our 1/4-inch clamp and gone to a lighter weight 1/8 inch thick piece that I think is going to work as well. It'll be a little lighter and it's easier for me to tap. I'm using a 1/8, or not a 1/8, a number 8, 32 threads per inch tap for a number 8 cap screw. And I've drilled the hole with a number 29 drill bit, if that matters to you. That's the size to drill the hole, to tap hole for a number 8 screw. I've gone to McMaster Carr and gotten some, these are 1-inch steel cap screws. And I've taken, I ordered a piece of 3/16 instead of 3/8, about half as thick. Polycarbonate, that's lighter and less expensive, still pricey. We're not saving much over my resin adventures. And it comes with brown paper on both sides glued on. I drew a very precise line right down the middle. And starting here, I came in 52 millimeters and drilled 2 holes 52 millimeters apart. Then I marked 28 millimeters. And then 52, 28, 52, 28, 52, 28. And went down the whole line, alternating 52 and 28 millimeters. Took a piece of, it's 3/4 inch by 1/2 inch, really, or 3/4 inch by 3/8, I guess, aluminum bar stock, and cut it 63 millimeters in length. And put 2 holes in it. They're 5.5 millimeters from the end, and separated by 52 millimeters. Did the same with our little 1/8 by 3/8 bar stock, and threaded that. And now I'm going to take one of our screws and a washer, and come up from underneath. Put my anvil right here and my threaded clamp, and just start the threads with the screw. And I take my other screw. I should have another washer, and bring it up. Recall the last one we threaded the anvil and ran the screws down into the plexiglass and put a nut on the other side. This cuts the nut out of the process, for one thing. And I can kind of spread that up. And I've got that from the previous one. Let me see here. We should be negative, positive. And so this should be negative and positive. I'm going to take 3 cells, put them together here, try to slide 3 tabs under there, and then the 3 under here. And kind of line things up where it's all sort of even and square. I have a nut driver for my cap screws, and I'm going to tighten up my strap, which will clamp down on 6 terminals, 3 from my first set and 3 from my second, to the anvil. With enough force to make a good connection, I hope. And what about the Nord-Lock washers and so forth? Probably we'll simply back up. This is threaded, and we may come along with a nut and back that up there, and that will certainly retain it. I leave this one loose for my next set of cells. And so these two are in pretty good. I started with 2 3/8 blocks, and one of them tapped for my Nord-Lock bolt. That's my terminal, and that will connect to a corresponding terminal in the other layer. I haven't really worked out how we're going to do that yet. And so this is a process to do another layer of 3 cells by 12 for 40 volts and 60 amp hours. If we marry this with our other layer that we have over there on a piece of plastic, so it doesn't short out on our lift, that'll give us 80 volts. And if I could, by some fashion, get 3 layers in one can, that would be a 120 volt module at 60 amp hours, which should be 7,200 watt hour pack of about 108 cells, and that should be 108 cells at well, let's say we landed them here at 20 bucks, would be a little over $2,000 in cells. Unfortunately, what we save in resin, we're spending in polycarbonate, which is good temperature resistance, not bad to work with, and it's pretty, but it's these are about $75 a sheet. Our 3/8 sheet was about 130 bucks, so we're rapidly eating up what I saved in resin with polycarbonate. But we should wind up with a 4 foot by 2 foot module. If I do all 3 layers, 4.5 inches thick, maybe 5 inches, and that would be quite a power pack for any car. As far as, you know, able to drive it. It's not going to drive it far, 30 or 35 miles. Hopefully a total cost of $4,000 or so. And we'll see how that comes along as we go. But I thought I'd show you a little change. We're going to use these smaller bars to clamp, thread them, doing away with a nut, and go to a half as thick polycarbonate. Otherwise, the same process. Stay with us. All right. Okay, here we are. This is nothing new. I continued the process right down the thing. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 in series, 3 in each thing for a 60 amp hour, 40 volt pack, and on a 3/16, kind of, I might have to go back to the 3/8. This is a little bit flexy piece of polycarbonate, and that's going to be layer 2. I would like to make a pack with all 3 layers in them. I'm kind of playing around with some things to avoid making an aluminum can for them and putting them together with some kind of aluminum angle iron and some bolts where this all stiffens up very nicely and uses the polycarbonate for some structure. We're going to have these obviously laying on each other, some sort of strip of Mylar or something along here so they don't short into each other. Probably have to take some copper bar and make me a little thing that extends out to here that then can be bolted to the pack that faces it to connect our terminals and make it all. But what I'd like to come out with in the end is a 120 volt, 60 amp hour package that could be bolted underneath a car and cause it to go. If I did 36 cells times 3, that would be 108 A123 cells. We would have a 60 amp hour times 120 volts, 7,200 watt pack, or 108 cells. I mean, pick a price, but at let's say $24 a piece is $2,600. If I could do that for $500 or $600 in hardware, bars, polycarbonate, and so forth, we're at $3,000, maybe a little over, for a battery pack that could conceivably take a car 25 or 30 miles. Do you see where I'm going at with this? It would be a pack that 108 cells at 496 grams each. Times 496. Is 53.5 kilograms. So let's 118 pounds worth of cells. What do you want? Another 40 pounds for the stuff, 60 pounds. So we're 180 pounds, $3,000. That's your $3,000 lead pack is 1,200 pounds. We're at 180 pounds. We're actually lighter than the packs we've been using. At $3,000, 7,200 watt hours. If we did 250 watt hours per mile, is well, let's divide it by 200. That's speedster type stuff. 7,200 divided by 200, and we're certainly light. That's 36 miles at 100% times 0.8. Lightweight car, you're at a 29-mile range to 80%. That's what you're doing with the lead acid pack. So what I'm thinking is to replace a lead acid battery pack at $3,000 in a car with a 160 or 180 pound pack at the same price, but much lighter weight, and with the possibility of the cells lasting 3,000 or 4,000 cycles instead of the 300 of a lead acid pack. And so to get you guys into a car that you can afford to do with lithium cells that get all the advantages of them. And why is this possible? Because these little cells will put out a tremendous amount of instantaneous power, so we can run the car at full power. We just can't do it very long. 26, 28 miles, 30 miles. Well, duh, that's what you're going to get from lead. So once you have it built and it works, and it'll work a lot better than you think, A lot of this is simply a matter of building confidence. Once you have the car running, adding another one for another $3,000, or adding more cells another way, is not a difficult task. And so you'll be able to pursue this. Is it the way to build an electric car? I actually like the big prismatics. If I was going to start a build for me, it's going to be with a kind of a shiny black Sino Poly 200 amp hour cell, or I've had very good luck with a China Aviation Lithium Battery Company 180s, which are almost 200 anyway. And so I think those are excellent cells, and I've had very good luck with them. This is a struggle to try to wrestle these into something that will bring new blood into the belief system of electric cars, and let some people play that couldn't previously play, and let the people who were tempted to do it with lead, and lead just doesn't. You're dragging around 1,200 pounds of stuff. Here's the difference. If we can do this, is it's not 1,200 pounds, 180 pounds. That's a complete difference. It makes the car a completely different beast. And at the end of 2 years, you're not down to 6 miles range. You're down to 28 miles range, 27. The batteries will last another 8 years. And so if you don't over discharge them and don't overcharge them, they'll last forever. The life of the car, in theory. So that's what we're doing here. This is a very odd pack I'm working at, and about the time I get it done, I'll know how to do it, and we'll have to redo it again. But this is the process. Once you do something, you see how it would work better the next time, a different way. And right now what I'm going to face is connecting these vertically. And this is only 1.5 inches thick. 3 of them would be 4.5 inches. I think I can live with that. I might scrape a little bit, I don't know. But now it's a matter of weatherproofing it and getting it attached to the car, and not having it fall off. And I want to do that with the minimum amount of material, expense, and weight. And that's an interesting problem. But we'll look at that further next week, and when we also hopefully pull the engine on the Escalade. Back to you, Chet.
Well, you've been busy.
I still don't actually know how I'm going to put all this together. I've got to connect them.
Hey, Brian, help me put it over here.
Copper things that go in this thing.
I know. The connecting the two of them together.
Angle iron and stuff, and make it. But I'm going to make a flat pack out of this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be able to access all the cells where you can hook up a BMS or whatever with all those little screws, and
that's
maybe
true.
cell log 8S's or something. And I'm gonna make a flat pack. The Flatenem
we're working on a Flatenem Series.
I got to do a reorder. Several people have wanted to get on board. I'm willing to do it. I'm not willing to do it for free. I've got a lot of viewers that don't want 300 cells.
Yeah.
They want 13.
They want to experiment and put them in something small.
Bikes, dirt bikes, stuff like that. And I'll have to mark them up if this was another one of these things where I wind up being the ugly one because I'm buying them for 20 and selling them for 30. I don't want to play. But I mean, you got to get with the realities of this. They don't understand, and we do this all the time. I'm constantly talking to the Chinese. Here today, I get a call from FedEx. This is over a $109 meter, and I don't even know if it works.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah.
Ordered one to see what it looked like.
Yeah.
The gal shipped it through a shipper that's been red flagged by customs. So FedEx calls me and wants me to go to work for him and verify the invoice and everything. I said, sure, I'll send you a copy of the invoice. No, we need to send you a form, and you need to go fill it out, and you need to go have it notarized. I said, whoops.
Yeah, if it's not a divorce decree, we aren't getting notarized.
Right, if this is not a divorce decree and you can prove with DNA that the kid is mine, you're off my phone.
That's right, I'm not getting it notarized.
You're crazy.
It's nutty.
I'm not going to work for FedEx. Keep the
Yeah, send the meter back.
or they can refund it, or I'll get it back through PayPal or whatever. This is, but part of the game with the A123 cells is, yeah, I get the cells cheap. Then the shipping is like, for the last 300 was $1,250.
Ooh, man.
It was like $4 or $5
bucks
to
a
sell.
cell, yeah.
Why are they shipping it like that? Well, believe it or not, they're shipping lithium batteries air freight
Oh, why don't they just put them on a boat?
because it gets around some sort of customs deal.
Oh, God. Jeez. So you get to pay $3, $4 a battery, though.
Yeah, but I don't
shipping.
get them tied up in customs and they get here quick.
Yeah, that's true. They do get here pretty fast. It'll take a couple of weeks.
No, a week.
Week, okay.
I can get them in a week.
Okay. That's pretty good.
I can get them a lot faster
Yeah.
from China than I can from Livonia.
Yeah. We can't get any.
And so,
We're still waiting.
there's some issues in it, some other costs. So you got your per cell cost, then you got your shipping cost, which is kind of a customs and a surface freight avoidance cost.
Yeah, right.
And,
Yeah.
and then, but believe it or not, you have a PayPal surcharge,
Right.
which is illegal. They can't collect that. It's against PayPal's rules, but they do it. And, I mean, there's no way to stop it. They can just move it to something else.
right,
if
just
you wanna
load it in
Call
something.
it something different.
Right, right. Convenience
These-
charge.
These realities in doing business with the people in China. But we've gone from $65 to $17 per cell on A123 cells in 3 months.
Yeah, so
It's a good
that's
thing.
worth it. It's a good deal. Yeah, yeah.
So I'll
Yeah.
do it if I have to. But anyway, that's our flat pack, and I think
It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
BMW i3 and i8. Now, I've said all along that to sell an electric car at a premium price, and you have to get a premium because the components
They're
simply
expensive.
are expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive right now, yeah.
You have to make a desirable car.
Yes.
And this is why I am an advocate of the Tesla and his whole approach to this. You understand it's a challenge then.
Right.
Tesla is, now it comes out not 57,000, it's 87,000.
That's a little different.
It's a little different.
That's a little different.
I predicted it would be 77, not 55.
Yeah,
well, they've
right.
kind of blown past me
They
into
just
the
left
87.
you in the dust.
I think after they sort out the real early fruitcakes,
Yeah.
that they're going to be back to 77.
They'll have to drop
for
it again a
basic,
little bit. Yeah, yeah.
We'll be at 77,000.
Yeah.
But understand what they're talking about doing there. The Porsche Panamera.
Oh, the Pan America Porsche. Yeah, the four-door. Yeah.
Yeah. How many of those do you think they sold?
You know, I don't know. I not many. I know that. I didn't see very many when I was in California either.
8,000.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
Yeah. The Audis, top-end BMWs, you get into some pretty rare ground there.
Yeah, I mean they're just expensive cars.
When
yeah.
you talk
Yeah.
about selling 20,000 Tesla Model S's, that sounds pretty modest. Actually, it's pretty,
That's aggressive.
It's
especially,
very
especially for a
aggressive.
$90,000 car.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
And so I've got my order in. There is one company, though, that makes cars. They've got a brand going. And if they took after an electric car, I believe they would make a desirable one. And that is BMW.
I think so too. Yeah.
Now, they've got that Active E out there. But this week, they released a little commercial, minute 10 seconds. Let's take a look.
Okay.
And that is their i3
That's
and
interesting.
i8.
Yeah.
Shot up in Chicago, by the way. I had heard rumors. In fact, there was some stuff on YouTube where people had caught them filming.
Oh, they got some spy shots of it? Okay.
And but no, this is the real commercial.
Yeah, I mean, they got some spy shots of them doing the
there was some
commercial.
spy shots
Yeah.
floating around.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool.
Okay.
But their this is their BMW i born electric, a minute 10 seconds. No voiceover, no details.
No,
but,
but interesting looking.
They have started their active EEV, and it's not too bad. It's $2,250 down and $499 a month. Now, understand that the Mini E was $800
It was
a month.
$800 a month.
So
Yeah. For
$500
a
a month
year.
and a $2,250 down payment.
That's reasonable. There's a lot of cars that are in that range.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice car.
For that
but
lease, a 24-month lease, or did it say?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but that's reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Toyota has, like I said, in February, sales. Chrysler, by the way, the economy is back. Chrysler sales were up 16% and Ford 14%.
That's why I had heard for most of the manufacturers, February
$2
was a
million
really good.
homes up in the Northeast are moving like
starting to sell.
hotcakes.
Okay.
Yeah, the economy is back. Nissan sold 478 lease, down from 676 in January. 1154 for the year, and total ever in the U.S. 10,847.
Okay.
Chevrolet 1,023 volts. Again, you don't even know what that means. This
Who
is so
knows? Yeah,
bollocks
that
up
could
with the
be-
dealers. They were clearing out some 2012s that don't have HOV lane stickers.
Yeah, you can't.
And they're rolling
yeah, you
out the
can't
ones
get 'em.
that do.
Yeah, you can't get
I
them
can't
in California.
even make it out. It's all in California.
Because you're looking for that green sticker so you can drive solo in the HOV lane, and yeah, I guess the Volt didn't qualify for that.
9,623 volts total ever.
Okay.
And to put that in perspective, since 2008, in other words, lithium plug-in cars,
Yeah.
total, including Tesla, 21,800.
That's not a lot.
It's not a lot.
That's not a lot.
But they brought
that's
44
more than there were, I
Mitsubishi
guess.
Eyes in February.
We're in California?
Yep. And,
Okay.
down around Los Angeles.
Okay.
And 7 Prius plug-in hybrids are here.
I didn't even know those were already out.
They are out. It's a pretty sharp-looking vehicle.
Yeah, I've seen the shots of it. I just didn't realize they were already out. Okay.
They're, I've got it here somewhere. The Prius is $32,000. The upscale rags on it, in other words, the leather and the infotainment,
Yeah.
is $39,000.
That's not bad. There's a lot of $40,000 cars out there.
The car
not
gets
bad.
a $2,500 federal rebate, not a $7,500, but
Oh, yeah, okay.
$2,500 federal rebate. In California, you get another $1,500.
And you get the 15, yeah, that's, yeah.
95 mile per gallon equivalent.
Okay.
11 miles in pure electric range.
11 miles?
Yep, and an overall 50 mile per gallon.
Okay.
And so they've gone to a plug-in hybrid, and it's finally here.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I didn't know.
Right when CNN's breaking a news story about uncommanded acceleration.
Gee whiz.
Tell me about the Escalade.
Well,
They want us to do something on that car, Brain.
that Escalade is been sitting there for a long time. We've got the battery pack in. They've seen that. The charger, DC converter.
Gene with Manzanita called
Oh, really?
to correct me on several items, and he's quite right. I thought, and I think sometimes that you all know something, because we've talked about them in the past. I implied that it would not do the 75 amps.
Yeah, we did. We talked about that a few weeks ago.
Well, it doesn't do 75 amps, but I did tell you why.
Yeah, you did. You explained it to him. Why it didn't?
Why did I say?
Well, because there's a 40-foot cord hanging out the back end of it.
Let's talk about that a minute, because there's this is something you ought to know anyway.
Yeah.
Aside from being a fire hazard.
Yes, walking all over
If
it
you
all
will
day long.
take your electric car and put a real cheesy, cheap 14-gauge extension cord on it about 125 feet, not only does the cord get hot, but your charger, your 3-kilowatt charger, is doing about 2,000 watts.
Doing nothing. That's right.
And
your hairdryer will do
it's
more.
It's not the charger's fault, guys. And I did not mean to imply that the Manzanita wouldn't do 75 amps.
And you didn't
Mine
say that.
doesn't do 75 amps because I got 40 feet.
Yeah, 40 feet of cord.
Of number 10 on that fuel pump.
Yeah, right.
Charger.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the long
Which
run.
is standing right next to the plug in the wall.
I know, we could do a 5-foot cord. Yeah. We never know where we're going to put that thing.
I need to move it around.
Sometimes that thing's all over the shop.
The charger will do 75 amps,
yeah.
Gene, I'm convinced. I mean, it might be off an amp or two, or so might the display.
We just need a shorter cord.
Yeah, but we would need a shorter cord. The other thing was I was complaining about it not quitting. He said it is quit. It just looks like it's running.
Okay, that's just a little disconcerting, though, because you think it's still going.
He said the fans and everything is about 0.3, 0.4 amps it'll show on there. The lights are still going to go, and it's not going to shut down and go dark.
Okay.
So
that, all right.
It's fine.
Okay.
But
good to know.
We did chat about intelligent Bruce's style chargers, and he seemed to know an awful lot about that for somebody that works at a company where they don't have any of those.
Maybe he's getting smart. I wonder why.
Maybe there's a new product in Norway.
We love chargers, especially good ones.
Chargers.
Yeah.
And you know, they've always had done a gorgeous piece of kit, and I've shown the inside on the show. But I'd like it to be controller based.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a little smarter.
So we've got all that on the Escalade. You know, the back end. So yeah, I guess we should just show them what we've done this week.
Did you pull its teeth?
It didn't complain much.
Well, Brain, enough about batteries and meters and stuff. This is where the rubber meets the road. Let's tell all these old geezers it's time to cinch up your depends. We're
going in. That's right. Yeah, the Escalade looks a little bit different than it did last week.
Should we have filmed every nut and bolt of that? Not really.
Not
it was
really.
Just sort of piecing through it and going by the book.
Yeah.
Brain removed the front clip and all our coolants, of which we had a lot.
There's a lot of fluids in this vehicle. Yeah.
We had a cooler that we still have that we didn't even disconnect. I've never seen before.
It's a power steering fluid cooler.
Well, the power steering comes from our pump, but this is some sort of a cooler for the actual steering head down here.
Yeah, right. That's where it seems to be going in, is right at the head of the power steering.
We had a little transmission cooler bolted on.
Yep, we had an auxiliary cooler up here.
We had our air conditioning condenser.
Condenser was up here, radiator on the other side.
And then a massive radiator.
Yeah.
And two big fans.
Two big fans on the inboard side.
We expect to kind of have a length problem with our motor. As you can see, the motor of the vehicle is stuffed way back in there.
Yeah, it
We've
really
got
does
kind
sit
of a
pretty
long
far.
motor. Electric motor, because we have two of them.
Right.
So it could come out to about here, and this is about where the radiator sat.
Yeah, sitting right on this cross member up here, this frame support.
It appears that the radiator is non-structural.
In this vehicle it is, unlike the Mini Cooper. This has its own support system up here that we took out. So no, the radiator is not part of the support of the vehicle.
So you'll be able to assemble that A-looking thing again and hang the evaporator, or the condenser, and the transmission cooler and everything
right
back on there without the radiator.
Exactly, yeah.
And mount the front clip.
Yep.
Well, that might give us a little room.
Might give us a little more room, yeah.
We may have to put some sort of a trick, you know, reverse fan situation in the front
maybe put
instead
it
of
here.
in the back.
Yeah, yeah.
From Summit Racing.
And just have it pull the air through. Yeah.
But good job. You've got this open where we can just walk up to it and work on it.
Yeah, we can see it now. It's there's still a lot to come off. The manifold has to come off. We'll have to get all of the hoses and everything. Have to get under it and look at the transmission coolers. If we lose a radiator, we do have the transmission cooler that actually had an inlet and an outlet through the radiator. So I'm going to take that book home tonight and kind of look at how that was routed and see if we can figure that out.
It's American made. We have a little better information with the books.
Yeah, the books are nice.
Here's your ECU. If you recall, our DME for the Mini Cooper was buried so deep. We did get to some wires, but it was gruesome. This looks a lot simpler. 2 connectors.
It is, yeah.
We can get to wires and so forth. We're hoping, of course, to use the engine control unit. Sebastian Bourgeois of Rebirth Auto and Evnetics has prevailed upon me. This car works a little differently. This is the throttle body here. Here's your butterfly valve. There's no carburetor, it's fuel injected, so the ECU meters, I guess, the fuel.
Yeah, it does. It meters the fuel through the fuel injection.
And then it controls really the engine power and RPM with the throttle body.
Throttle position,
how much air it lets in.
Yeah, yeah.
And so Sebastian was saying I was going to steal the signal off the throttle body. He was saying he's got a Hall effect pot, and I've ordered one, and that there's some way to mount that on here to where it actually works off the butterfly, and that's a superior solution.
Really? Okay.
Now, I'm not sure why, since there is a signal. There's a signal to this servo to position it, and a signal back of the throttle position signal. Yeah,
right. It has to know.
And I ought to be able to steal that throttle position signal and use it to run those controllers. But he seemed to think that it was actually simpler to mechanically link to that butterfly valve. So we're going to try to talk to him a little bit about that.
Yeah, see what he's got. Yeah, okay.
I'm struck by corrosion and just filth.
Just stuff,
I have loved this vehicle largely because inside I get to sit up high, great visibility, on a huge seat where I'm very comfortable as kind of a big guy. Blowing air conditioning up my skirt.
Yep. It has some nice creature comforts in this car.
And it's a big vehicle. I feel safe in it and everything. But I get in here, and this thing was $60 grand, $59,000.
Yeah.
It's a 2008, has 7,000 miles on it.
Yep.
And I'm looking at this aluminum engine, and it's just covered with surface corrosion. Here's a little rust and stuff on an idler wheel. This should be steel or something. Why
I don't know what it is. Yeah,
even corroded.
Everything, all of your.
Our front frame member here, which is actually quite solid and offers us a lot of opportunities when we are talking about mounting things. Once this is out, is covered with grease. Is that to lubricate it?
I don't know. Keep it from rusting?
Like
is it like Cosmoline or something?
But
put it in storage?
This engine, which is supposedly a very expensive engine and a very good engine, they use them in Corvettes, and
this is a nice engine.
and so forth. And it's got corrosion all over it. It's got 7,000 miles on it. It is 4 years old, but it's lived in a garage almost the whole time. I rarely use the vehicle. It is good on the road. I happen to think it still will be, and that's one of the reasons I want to go with Seb on the throttle body thing, is that'll let me keep my cruise control working. And I suspect, from playing with the Ford Edge and the Mini Cooper, we have an interesting anomaly that is new news to the electric car people, and that is an inversion of efficiency when you get over about 3,500 or 4,000 pounds. to where our car is a energy hog in town to accelerate because of the mass, but you get out on the freeway and it calms down.
Once that mass is moving, huh? It's,
and I think this one is going to take 800 or perhaps even 900 watt hours per mile, in town.
Wow. Yeah.
And I'm hoping that drops to 400 or 450 on the freeway.
Okay, that would be cool. That'd be
it would be cool because then we're designed for a 100-mile range.
Get up to.
We'd be on the freeway going to St. Louis. 120 miles.
That'd be cool. Yep.
And with that 6-speed automatic in overdrive and cruise kicked in.
Yeah. Nice.
It might smoke along pretty quietly.
Yeah, it might do it. Okay.
That would be my dream come true. What are we doing here, Brain? We got a 2008 vehicle. We actually started a year ago when it was 3 years old. And we're going to rip all this. This engine doesn't even have 8,000 miles on it. We're going to rip all this out and convert it to electric. Why don't people do this? Well, it's because of the belief system.
Yeah.
It's tough to take a $59,000 operational vehicle and start pulling stuff off in a Cortez in Mexico style burning of the boats.
Yeah, that's right.
There's no way back.
No way back.
We've already pulled the gas tank and the exhaust even. We can't make this run again.
No, we're just going to have to mate with the natives.
Right. We have to stay and marry native
That's right.
girls.
That's all we can do now.
Which is not a problem for us.
Right. That's right. We just have to do it.
We've done it before. Some of us a lot before.
That's right. So no big task. That's right. What the hell?
So that's where we're at. This is a one-way trip on a very expensive and perfectly operational gasoline vehicle.
Yeah.
Most of our viewers view this as insanity. They want to take a blown engine vehicle or a salvage vehicle and convert that to electric. The problem with taking a junk vehicle and convert it to electric is $20,000 or $30,000 later in components, you have a finally operating electric piece of junk.
Yeah, you still have a $3,000 or $4,000 car, no matter how much money you put into it. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's a belief system. I believe when we get done, this vehicle will run.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's a range of running. It might make 120 miles on the freeway, and I could be wrong about that. It may have a total range of 40 miles.
Yeah, that's right.
Which, since I drive 20, it's
still
not
okay.
Really a loss.
That's right. It's still
as long as the air conditioning works.
Yeah.
It may not do a 7.5 second 0 to 60. We're going to be at 7,200, 7,400 pounds in this car.
Yeah, that's
it's unlikely we're going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I didn't know it would do it already.
Right,
I haven't known it several years. So you all went out and tested it because I don't have any need to go.
You never used the second half of the throttle
in a Cadillac Escalade. So there's a range of possible outcomes, all of them looking like success to me.
Yeah, I think so.
But I'm going to assume that we will finish the project and that it will indeed drive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe so.
And our mission is to retain as many of the built-in creature comforts like cruise control, like our backup camera, and little things like our dash. On this vehicle, the transmission position is a data bus signal.
Right.
There's no little needle when you move the lever.
No, it's not a manual thing
at all. It's a light.
Yeah.
And so to get all that to work, we're going to have to retain that ECU and some of these sensors and things, and we're going to do that. Of course, we're going to retain our air conditioning and our
power steering.
brake steering. We've already got the brakes converted to Hydro Boost, and those were working well, right? You tested them?
Absolutely. Yeah, we drove it back that day.
It would stop.
Oh, yeah, stopped very nice. I couldn't tell the difference.
So no vacuum needed.
No.
And I had we have a lot of viewers with a lot of ideas who thought our environmentals ran on vacuum solenoids. It appears they don't. I think it's electric.
Yeah.
And so there's that. I don't understand your transmission cooler. You have too many connections here.
I know, isn't it crazy?
There's like 4 of
There's
them
4
that somehow
connections.
hooked in through the radiator.
Yep.
We're going to rewire that a little bit. We will
Yeah.
retain the idea of a transmission cooler.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, particularly since we already have one. I'm a little bemused by the grime on here, just the grease and the corrosion on this American-made, virtually new, high-end vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would admonish General Motors that you need to get with the program, guys, or you're going to go broke again. I don't
Yeah, it's
have to buy
amazing.
this anymore. We
Yeah.
didn't have anything like that on the Mini Cooper. The Germans
No.
are not doing that.
No, nothing like that.
Everything's powder coated or sealed or
Yeah.
anodized or.
That's beautiful
You know,
stuff.
This is, you may have saved $20 here, but it's the wrong 20. You're going the wrong direction. Get with the quality concept or get off the road, because people are not going to pay as much as they used to pay for a house for a car that is designed to rust out this way.
Yeah, this is all aluminum.
Aluminum
Yeah, this is
engine
all
designed to
aluminum.
corrode. It's just
Yeah, it's
eaten
amazing.
up with surface corrosion right now, and it's 4 years old, kept indoors,
Yeah,
and
it's
has
always been
7,000
garaged,
miles
yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
It's inexcusable, and I'm telling you, the Germans and the Chinese are both coming from different directions. The Japanese don't want either one of them to get in. And I
Right.
didn't say anything about the Americans.
Right.
You're right now non-players and headed that way again. They say we're going to make 14 million cars in America this year, but the majority of them will be made by foreign companies making them here in the U.S.
Right.
We've got foreign companies doing more automotive manufacturing here now
Yeah,
than
yeah,
American
that's right.
companies.
You're down in the south, absolutely.
This particular vehicle is assembled in Mexico.
Yeah.
Like all Cadillac EXTs.
Yeah, this one's made in Mexico. Yeah, they're being under, there's parts in here from Mexico, India, Canada. I mean, those are just the ones that I can see labeled.
Here's my heater hoses. I'm delighted with the length and the diameter,
Yeah.
because we can splice right into them for my heating system. Here's your air conditioning system. And here we're going to be about the same place with the air conditioner, potentially up a little further. We may have to lengthen some of these hoses.
Yeah.
And to get that working, again, my main objective here is to have our heater and our air conditioner work very excellently and have lots of 12 volts, more than this little battery will provide, I'm afraid, to run our vehicle.
Yeah.
We may have 2 DC to DC converters, and if I do need a battery like this, it'll probably be a lithium made out of A123s
Right.
or something.
Yep.
Right there. So we'll have a lot of 12 volt and a lot of stuff. In most vehicles, we say that the battery box and battery installation is half the effort. We're past that.
Yeah, right.
Our battery box
But
is
it's in. Yeah, it's in.
our charger's in, our DC to DC converter's in, and it's a matter of you getting this crap out of my way, and let's. We're going to have some work marrying up that motor to that transmission and
yeah.
mount it in there, but on the Cobra, that was like buying just random pieces of urethane on eBay and
Yeah, and some aluminum
welding
plates.
up some little angle things and bolting it to the motor
Yeah,
and
into the frame.
measuring somewhat carefully
Yeah.
that it's centered and sort of at the right angle, rough by eye,
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
to connect to the drive line.
Yeah.
So if we can get this motor out of the way, again, I do want to, I need the air conditioning compressor or hydraulic pump and the throttle body, but beyond that, we need to get that intake off, get a cherry picker on it, and hoist this puppy out of my car, and I think we'll maybe lose the hood.
Yeah, the hood's going
For
to
a
go.
while.
And now I can get to it. before I was having to crawl
and
over
we'll
it.
literally be walking into the front of the vehicle to install our 211s. Matt Hauber called today. He's been talking to George Hamster. Of course, we had our 211s put together by Jim Husted, who is kind of flakes in and out. He's does some great, beautiful work with motors, but he's took months for him to do it. Then once we got it, it's been a year on the bench.
On the bench
that we haven't even needed it, but he did get it done. But it has a 4-inch shaft mounted to a flex plate, and Hauber's working with George on doing an 11-inch for a replacement for the LS1 motor in Chevrolet.
Okay.
That'll bolt right to a
the bolt right in. It'll already have the coupler and the stock coupler and everything. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And, and complete with motor mounts and stuff. And then no adapter, or not so much adapter, but hub. It'll just mount to a what do they call them? A flex plate.
A flex plate. Yeah.
Automatic transmissions.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see more automatic transmission electric vehicles. And so this is what we've kind of gotten down to. We simply took the books and did a step-by-step on the front clip, basically. Removing bolts and setting things aside.
Setting things aside, labeling things, everything's, got a
we've
tag on
labeled,
it.
tagged all the connectors and stuff for
anything
the
we put in a
fog
bag.
lights and headlights and so on and so forth. What's
remember the old PVC valve, the crankcase? That's what they've come down to.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Still there. Harness ground. Yeah. So we'll pull that throttle body off, and you can take off that intake, and we'll get her out of there, and that should let us start mounting our motor. Once the motor is in and mounted to the transmission, Brian, it's
going to go fast.
Yeah, down to I think it'll go quite quickly. I do have an HP Tuners kit.
Yeah, you do.
To actually get into this ECU with a laptop and make changes if we find that necessary. But I'm looking to have a fine driving Cadillac.
Cadillac Escalade.
That'll be a little quieter than the one I have.
Yeah, that's right.
And to tell you the truth, if it's not 400 horsepower, or it doesn't do a 0 to 60 in 7.5.
Oh well, it does some other things that it didn't do before.
I think having that double motor will keep me from burning up a motor.
Probably,
easily.
Yeah. Because that can happen.
Have 2 motors and 2 controllers. One, if one of them goes out.
Right.
The other one might still be able to drive.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I think it'll just be less stress and strain on them, and
I think
less
so.
current through them. And it'll simply run better and longer.
Yes.
And last
longer, absolutely.
And so that's basically what we're doing. But I'd like to get this done by time of the electric vehicle conversion convention, and have it as our featured conversion for this year. But I think if we can get this pig out of the way, and some of this stuff is just heavy. We're just dealing with heavy stuff.
Yeah, everything's just big. It's just a lot bigger.
Our motors are 400 pounds. I mean, we're going to have to be careful sluicing them over here and dropping them in.
Yep.
They're just big and heavy, but good work. We got the front clip off and a little bit of visibility. I think this will be a doable project. It looks enormous when it's all together, but you take it apart one screw at a time.
That's right. Just all of a sudden you go, wow. All that's out of my way.
At some point, that's out of your way.
That's out of my way. That's right.
So hang with us. The Escalade continues. after months of wondering what we were doing about that, I'm afraid it's going to collapse to too few episodes.
I know. It'll be like,
because,
it's done.
you've seen the boring but big part, which is the design of the battery
box and everything.
Battery pack. And,
yep. Yep.
That's done.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Good deal. All right, we're on.
Well, Brain, this is coming along nicely. I'm struck here. The top of the engine has evaporated.
Well, it hasn't evaporated precisely. I do have it right here. This was what we took off today, was our intake manifold. And it was, what it really required was us getting all of the wiring limb off, the harnesses, everything like that, you know, all the plugs, marking them. It wasn't too bad getting it off. We didn't have the tool to get the fuel line off, but we did have a tool to disconnect it rather radically.
Hacksaw?
Yeah, which was our cutters.
Yeah, we're not going to need that fuel line.
No.
This is a little different from the old Weber carburetor of 1966.
Oh yeah, this is quite a bit different, yeah.
This is our intake manifold. It's plastic.
It is.
And it goes right on top of the engine and goes in there. Our air comes in here. And this rail has fuel.
Yeah, on both sides. Yeah, that's our fuel.
Each of these little valves is individually controlled by the ECU to meter fuel.
Yep.
And then the butterfly, the throttle body, is driven by the ECU as well.
Right.
And you have removed that for me.
That was right here on the front.
Nice O-ring. This is actually not a bad unit. This is the one we're advised, and we're in new territory for me, by Sebastien Bourgeois of Evnetics, whose controller we're using on this project. He said to use the throttle body and keep it, and we've got a connection there and a connector.
Oh yeah, up in
somewhere.
Up in this area, yeah, for the throttle
that
body.
Hooks into that from the ECU.
That's it right
that
there.
Simply moves this butterfly valve to affect airflow into the engine.
Yeah.
And that's really, aside from metering the fuel flow, which is kind of crudely done, this is really how you control the engine.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we're going to use it to control our electric motor. We always have, for several years now, used the Hall effect pedals.
Right.
I did not like the potentiometers.
Those springs and everything, that's a mess.
That's kind of a mess, but a pot just naturally wears.
Yeah.
However, I was unaware of I was vaguely aware they had it, but unaware of the quality. This is the Evnetics or Rebirth Auto.
So you can use your stock pedal.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's a nice looking unit.
That's billet aluminum.
Yeah, nice?
It's really, you can put this on various ways. It has various arm lengths, a weatherproof connector. Again,
nice.
I've never met a connector that I liked, but for automotive use, these little, what do you call them, weatherproofs are pretty nice. So they give you a cable with terminations, 12 volt and ground, I'm sure, 5 volt and ground, I'm
that's
sure.
a nice.
And then your signal. And this goes exactly 90 degrees. Very positive spring action, a nice feel. And I still don't know exactly how we're to mate up this butterfly valve with this, but since he's done it once, maybe he can explain to us.
Maybe he can do some explaining.
Maybe he can explain to us, Lucy, how you do that.
Okay.
Anyway, we've got some mounting holes. This is not as big and awkward a thing.
No, it's not a
as
very
I
big
thought.
one.
We can mount that in the engine compartment and hook this up to it, and hopefully retain our cruise control and all that, and so that'll be a big play. It looks like you're coming along on pulling the engine. Of course, I want our air conditioner and our pump.
This we're going to go get on the way home tonight. I'm going to get a puller for this. The guy said don't use one of those arms to pull. Tends to bend these pulleys. and there's one that fits right on here. They said fits on Camaros, stuff that we should have at their local auto parts. I'll pull that.
Puller,
yeah, get that off. We'll get the AC off, and then got to get under the vehicle, and there's a few connections up under there. And we're getting pretty close to being able to pull this. I'm going to call Jeff over at Sling Blade tomorrow and see about mounting positions. You know, GM has its own little tools and everything, but where we're going to hook, you know, the cherry picker up to this thing to get a nice even.
So it lifts out balanced.
So it lifts out balanced. Yes, doesn't come out, you know, one end heavy or the other. But we're getting pretty close to being able to pull this part.
Yeah, ask Jeff if it's better to pull the transmission with it or if you can unbolt it and pull them separate.
We'll do. We'll do.
Because I don't care, but
yeah, either way. So we're getting close. I know it looks like we haven't been doing much with the Escalade. In fact, some points we hadn't, but
actually, you know, as I've said a number of times, the battery pack and the
we spent a lot of time on that. Yeah.
J17 72, that's really half your battle.
Yeah, and it was all back in the back of the car. It wasn't
it's actually pretty easy in this vehicle.
Yeah.
Trucks are just easier, and that's why the popularity of little S10s and Rangers.
Yeah, do the conversions, yeah.
It's one of the easiest conversions. This is kind of an advanced truck. We're still gaining some advantages there on the battery boxes.
Absolutely.
I guess I could have made it more complicated by declaring the bed something to keep, a 5-foot bed. In a Cadillac Escalade, what, haul gravel in?
Yeah, what are you going to haul in it?
You know,
that's right.
Well, we'll haul our batteries there and show them off to people.
They didn't have these short bodies.
And yeah, it's a 5-foot bed.
Yeah,
I mean,
not much.
it's not like I've got an 8-foot bed on the back of this and do landscaping.
Right. Yeah.
And so the whole purpose is a short bed and back for batteries, and then a 4-door car. Guess what else is kind of an interesting little car that's a smaller version that would be less expensive to do, but essentially the same thing.
What?
It's called a Subaru Brat.
Oh yeah, they used to have the seats in the back of the bed of those. They were facing you used to be able to, and used to strap into those seats.
It's got a little short bed.
It's got a little
back,
short bed. Yeah, a Brat.
And like you know, 4-passenger thing, but of course the weight is 2,400 pounds instead of like this. And so they're not very common, but if you could find one of those, it's basically a way to have a 4-passenger vehicle and put those batteries in that short bed
in
and
that little bed, yeah.
And so that's basically what we're doing is the pickup truck. I couldn't get excited about a Ranger, but frankly, a lot of people do.
A lot of people do, Rangers and S10s.
Rangers and S10s are the most popular conversion out there. There's a reason. They're easy and they work well.
Yeah.
They're designed to carry weight in the back.
Yep. You've got those nice frame, the ladder frame or the frame rails,
And it's just, and all the creature comforts. And a lot of them have little extended cabs and so forth like that, where it's beyond
cool.
a 2-seater.
Yeah, no, they're
But
cool.
I wanted a 4-seater, a full crew cab. And this
5-seater, I guess.
Avalanche, the only thing I gave up is I can't tilt the bed and put the batteries underneath.
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay.
We got the short bed, and we'll put it in there.
Yep.
So this is going to be, unfortunately, we're going to get it done just about time it's getting to be spring and time to drive the speedsters. When this was my snow car.
That's right.
I'm always out of sight.
That's right. When we want the sun cars.
Good work. I'm looking forward to having this aluminum piglet out of there. It's one of the best engines, I'm told, ever built. They use them in Corvettes and in Escalades, and it's the 6.2 liter monster 400 horsepower aluminum engine, but I don't want any of that. I want 2 of George's 11 inches on one shaft.
There you go.
And we'll quiet things down quite a bit. All righty, stay with us.
All right. Well, it looks a little different now. It took me a little while to get comfortable, but once I spun that first wrench, it was that first
Brian,
okay.
you know, you've been backing away from this thing for weeks. You're not having the troubles you had with the Mini Cooper.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I just needed to get
you
comfortable.
You struggled heroically with the front end of that
Mini Cooper.
That Mini Cooper was tough. He had the front grill off this Cadillac in a New York Minute, and after that, it has been lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. It's all just bigger, you know. Some of it does take 2 guys now to do the Mini Cooper. You can and you can stand over it. This thing is still kind of towering above me.
I know, but there's a lot of room too.
There's a lot of room. Now we're up in it.
And it's all sort of American stuff and easy. It comes apart the way you would kind of think, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's some tight spots in
Even
there.
like that ECU. It's not like
it's a
the Mini
little
Cooper.
ECU.
It's just hanging there. It's not that big. It's got two
plugs.
connectors that are easy to get to.
Yeah.
The throttle body I thought would be a mess.
It's not.
It's
just
a piece of sensor there.
Yeah, it really is. Just a butterfly and a servo, and that's some
I'm still
sensors.
talking to Seb. He's telling me it has to be fabricated. He might. I think he's about to volunteer to do that.
Yeah, that's mean you're kind of pushing it a little, waiting for him to pick it up.
I already gave him $175 for the thing. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
How about if I said,
how about you show me how to do this? Put it together.
It takes some fabrication. That's not one of my great skills, as you can see.
We're getting better though.
You can see my comical efforts with the A123, but I'm sneaking up on it. I'm a module style.
No, we're getting much better at it. So the Escalade, now you can see that the Escalade project is moving along, and there's no backing away. I mean, I was looking to get a tool to disconnect the fuel line. Jack goes, why would you worry about the fuel line? Why don't you
fuel line? We're going to use that failed fuel line later, Brian.
Yeah, let's just cut it. All right. It felt good to cut the fuel line, actually. Yep. Kind of like the umbilical.
Yeah, right. It's like you're saving that fuel line for what? In case we need
a fuel line?
Yeah, a fuel line.
You just need to run electrons up a fuel line.
Right.
So yeah, as you can see now, it's moving along. So we'll keep you posted.
More inept attempts at being a EV component thing. We do need to develop some cash flow, and this is kind of working out.
Yeah,
but it's really weird for us. Brian and I spent an afternoon last week boxing up meters and shunts and DC to DC converters and mailing them out.
Sending them out.
Some battery straps and stuff.
Yeah.
It was kind of like being a mail room or something.
Yeah, I know. It takes concentrated effort.
We don't know how to do it.
We don't know how
stack
to do
them up
that.
and we get to them confused. And I don't know if the right ones went to the right guys yet. We're not really good at that kind of
and just in
business.
case you guys do get the wrong thing, just email us and we'll
We
find out who
opened
got
up
it.
the last week. I put the show up about, I don't know, noon Sunday. I was doing. I was ahead of the game. It wasn't like midnight Sunday, but it was about noon Sunday. By Monday morning, we're sold out. I can't.
Isn't that crazy? God, that's crazy.
And so I've ordered more, and I'm hunting down more of these meters and types of meters like this. Yes, of course, morons, I'm marking it up. Why would I put it in a box and mail it to you if there wasn't some money in it? But there's some pieces left out of this. I did a manual. That
that's a big piece. Yeah, that's actually a big piece.
Where you can actually use the meter without having to reinvent it.
Yeah, the manual's worth the price of admission.
This is the Chinese shunts. They come without the resin. I don't
what
know
do you
what
bolt
you're
them to the body of the car?
To the body of the car and ground your pack. I don't know, but that's how they come.
Yeah, that's how
I get
them.
them.
They come in a box.
And
like
so we're casting them in resin. This is a little something for you to do. Wire up 4 wires to this little brick.
Yeah.
It's a little $20 Murata.
12 to 12,
but it's 3 watts, and
make sure it's isolated. Yeah,
and that makes sure you're isolated. It is kind of an isolated meter. Don't worry about that. Do this anyway,
right?
And get used to doing this.
Yeah, for any meter that you're going to do
with any meter or anything like that.
We found that's usually trouble.
I think you're going to like this meter. We're going to open it up again this week if I. Get another
if
shipment
we can find some.
The 12th of March, I'm supposed to get 20 more of them, and we'll open it up. And I'm going to get caught up and find somebody that can sell me 100 of them or whatever we need to do
we'll find them.
To fill the demand. But it's like a little kit, like our little strap kit.
Our strap
and those
kit.
are still selling pretty well.
Yep.
And so these aren't any big thing. They're little things that let us do a little cash flow to having done them, but if you put all these pieces together, we're still not making anything.
No, but it is something we can do, and it gives us a little something,
Right.
And a product that you can use.
And we're not going after anything anybody's doing. These are things that aren't available.
No, right. We're not just doing a me too.
What's the competition for our coffee cup with a picture of Fat Jack on the front?
That's right.
Get off of it. Dimitri got all upset because I spoke ill of him and decided that I was, I got to point out to you, Dimitri, you've had years to do this. We're underselling you by $75. And once they broke out in DIY, one guy actually chastised me for being so old and confused and dazed that I thought I had Dimitri confused with Dan Blocker with the volt blockers. The only thing is Dimitri never really corrected him because he knows he was selling the volt blockers, and I bought some from him.
Is that going to be our little secret?
Yeah,
we just told everybody.
That's our little secret. And Dimitri was these clowns are hopeless. He's got his 4 fans there, and really, I'd like him to get that Android thing working. I'm all for instrumentation. Anything anybody can do is a good thing.
Yeah.
Chargers, instrumentation, fast charging.
Yeah. Those are huge right now. I mean, and underserved.
Are things where you could get in and do something, and you could make a few ducats at it, and we would sing your praises in all directions.
That's it.
Unless you're Dimitri, Bativnik or something. I'm not kidding you. That is his name.
I don't know his last name.
Bativnik. I don't think I'm making that up. Anyway, we'll have the meter. It's easy to read. I think my next ones are blue instead of red, but
okay. Take what we can get at this point.
This is. It isn't that they're not available anywhere else. I'm sure you can find them somewhere else. They come from China. This is a cheap Chinese meter. They've got so many different kinds. It's kind of hard to weave through.
To navigate it all.
Even for I worked with my guy at Light Object, and so but he's got 100 meters on his place.
Yeah, that's tough.
It took him a while to find out what I was talking about, even though I bought it from him.
Right. Yeah. Like, what meter are you talking about?
And
I have one that does that?
Yeah, right, exactly. Why does it do that? No, there's the question. Why isn't the documentation on your website?
Yeah, no fooling.
And then the documentation's hard to follow. We did a little 10-pager,
and it's a big, not a big improvement. It makes it usable.
So you can tell which pins to use on your thing. And it's just a little kit, and you'll love it.
Yep.
What else is going on? What should we be talking about?
I don't know. Let's see. We talked about the Escalade. The meters talked about the.
That's what we've done this week. I'm playing with Josh Stillwell, Recharge Cars.
Oh,
has got a amp blocker.
Yep.
That does basically what Dimitri's device does. It's much hardier and kind of what this does, although it's for a computer. And they're working on the Arduino. They call it the Machina, which is an Arduino that talks OBD2, all versions of it. This is the CAN bus that's in all the cars.
It's in all the new cars.
And I think he's going to be famous for this device. It's going to be an Arduino built on the base board is the CAN bus. It's not a Shield.
Oh, man.
And so you can
that
program.
A lot of
the tuner guys are going to go berserk when they see this.
Yeah, that'll be.
And it will let you spoof anything. For example, what's an example? If you can figure out what the codes are on your car for your gas tank display.
Yeah, for your gas gauge. Yeah.
And could get a signal to your Arduino how many amp hours were gone, like from this. Then you could
fuel gauge would work.
Yeah, make your fuel gauge work.
Yeah.
Or use your oil temperature gauge to show current. Or
and it really doesn't matter once you can yank those signals.
That's how your instrument panel works, is off the CAN bus usually.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And never mind things like shift points and stuff.
Got your seats like almost.
The Mini Cooper, we could spoof that 600 RPM. If we didn't have 600 RPM,
for our power steering,
for our power steering to work.
Yeah, so it comes on as soon as we go. Yeah.
And so
that's cool.
They're doing some things. They're kind of slow in their product development, but they do have that amp blocker now, USB connection, and it will just spit out current and amp hours and voltage. but it also has some hardwired outputs. It can use your tachometer like a Ziva for amps.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
That's cool. Yeah.
And maybe drive your fuel gauge for state of charge. So I think they're doing some great work, kind of slowly.
Yeah. Well.
But
they're moving some stuff
instrumentation is
along,
a
yeah,
huge
big deal.
area.
Yeah.
We don't have any competitive sense about this. This is a junk meter that happens to work because nobody's come up with anything. I'll get them and sell them to you. It's not what I'm going to do with my life.
Right. This is for right now. So something's out there.
You don't have anything else.
Yeah, there's nothing else out there.
If Dimitri had been doing his job, I wouldn't have to fool with this. This is not packing these in boxes and mailing them to Dale in St. Louis is not what I'm after.
That's right.
We're publishers. We don't want to be in the business.
Oh God, that's right. I've still got to go to UPS today.
Yes, you do. And, so we better wrap this up. Stay with us. We'll see you all next week.
All right. See you.